It was the beginning of the second act of the Nord Stream musical performance. The Moscow theater was crowded with people enjoying the drama about a romantic novel. But romance turned to horror when a group of armed men and women appeared on the stage. Many in the audience thought the terrorists were just part of the theatrical extravaganza. But when shots were fired, they realized they all had been taken hostage. 900 were in the audience, 130 were to die in the tragedy which ended after 56 hours. 6 years later, many of the victims' families still cannot recover from the tragic events. Svetlana Gubaeva was in the theater with her fiancé and daughter. She saw them for the last time when she went to sleep, just hours before the rescue operation by the Russian forces. Svetlana lost consciousness during the rescue mission. Waking up in hospital, she was to hear on the radio the names of her child and fiancé among the dead. Speaking to relatives and friends of those who died, she has begun collecting the stories of the lives of each one, young and old. This will form a book dedicated to the victims of the tragic events of October 2002.
Those 3 days were a complete nightmare for me. The moods of the terrorists were changing all the time, and the hostages, of course, were feeling these changes. When they shot the first victim, we all understood how serious it was. I can never forget these events. I'm living with them every day.
Meanwhile, legal expert Igor Trunov is still taking up the issue of financial compensation for those who survived and those left behind. The lawyer who has represented victims of different terrorist acts says he's taking on over 100 legal auctions for compensation.
We have won about 40 cases so far. These covered families who lost the head of the family, or breadwinners, or children who became orphans. However, I still think the amount of compensation we won was not enough.
The Nord Ost drama shocked Russia and the whole world. No one in the country was untouched by the tragedy, from ordinary citizens to famous public figures. Pediatrician Leonid Roshal and legendary singer Joseph Kobzon negotiated with the terrorists during the siege, managing to save several children before the horrific end. And even 6 years later, Joseph Kobzon says he remembers every minute he spent at the theater and how people were desperate to save the children trapped inside.
Thousands of people, politicians, deputies and famous actors were ready to replace children being kept in the theatre. This grief and sorrow has united all people. For me, that was the brightest memory of that tragic event.
Dozens of children were left orphans. The lives of thousands of friends and relatives were changed forever when they lost their loved ones. 6 years after the deadly hostage-taking within the Dubrovka theater, people passing by this place hang their heads with grief and respect towards the victims. Most of the time, the music theater remains silent. Only some plays and musicals are still taking place here after the tragedy. Madina Kochno, RT.